the nomenclature itself puts me off. Customer. Okay. It's been there not just now, but last 4 decades. We always say that customer. And like Alec Padamsi once said, customer is no one but your mother. Correct? So it is, there's nothing called customer. They are people, human beings.
Humans.
The fact of learning from legends that customers are nothing but human beings. They could be your mother, your sister, your brother, your father, your friend, your uncle, your aunt. You will be able to visualize them much better before you start, even writing. So it is always the perspectives with which you understand human beings, how they behave, is far more important to create a better affinity with them, a better relationship with them. That is what will make you successful. All these micro interactions, we tend to think they're all progression within the transactional relationship. It never happens. You give a love letter to a girl every day for 365 days and you think that she's going to fall in love with you? I have given more letters than the other guy.
Right.
It won't happen.
Right.
It won't happen.
Right.
That is the premise with which this entire, creating better experience is a matter of wanting to have better relationship. And wanting to have better relationship is wanting to understand them better. And wanting to understand them better, how can you understand? You need to have certain commonalities. If you want to make friendship with somebody, you know that what music they listen to, what books they read, what family they come from. We do a little bit of homework to really understand.
Right.
And then see what motivates them, and then you really form a relationship with them. So in the same way, understanding the physical part of it is very important, that what SSCA and then what habits and what data you have about them. The emotional part, the insights, is equally important, which is what is getting mixed, getting lost in this entire digital, online, consumer experience or design experience. All this fabulously new
packaged
nomenclatures which have been done.
Right.
The core of all that is
Human connect.
And so that is understanding of human beings. So at times you need to be selfless to be selfish, correct? You want people to come and then visit you,
Right.
but you have to be selfless so that people actually come to you. And then not talk about what product you can sell to fill the hunger. First ask the question, are you hungry? When somebody comes home, that's what we do.
Right.
Correct. Are you hungry? Have you eaten? Do you need something? Are you comfortable? These are not selfish things, and that's how human relations are. Even if you want to do B2B, you can't shake hand with somebody and then ask business, no?
Right. True.
A chocolate, correct? Which mothers feel not good to give children. There's a guilt which is involved to do that, but we use it as a bribe to give. How did Cadbury legitimize that bribe of a mother to give it to children? And then Cadbury went and then said, no, it has glass and half milk. So a mother, in her head, any form of milk going in his...
Right. That guilt reduces at least.
That guilt has been reduced.
Right.
How you go to a doctor and you don't get cured by the medicines which he gives, but the confidence which he gives. And then even when you are serving an ad, algorithms will not understand this part of judging you in an emotional way, judging you in a rational way because what you have done. Everybody knows what you have done, but nobody will know what you would do. Correct? You are preempting that you will not do. And that is where the efficiency serves only 5%. People will be very grateful if your metrics on any performance thing is more than 4.5%, 5% or 5.5%, depending on which category you are working. But flip it. It is ineffective 95%.
Right. What about the rest?
What about the rest? So it is. I would say that the customer experience is nothing but understanding how we treat the other person in real life. Nothing will replace human imagination, human creativity, and our ability to weave stories and then tell people. Reality is not a story. Fiction is a story. A lie is always better than a truth. Correct? Truth is journalism. Lie is all about storytellers. Correct?
Wow, yeah.
And then you weave a story around it.
Right.
It is plausible.
Right.
Any lie is plausible. Correct? But it is all about how you take the human interest and then weave things. So that imagination, not a bunch of people, hundreds and millions of people can convert a text to image to video, and then video to a longer format of video.
Right.
Has it replaced anything? Will it ever? You get tired of doing it once you adopt it. And then you do it once, and after that you go. How many Jai Hanumans you will do? How many good mornings you will do?
Right.
Correct?
Right.
So if your imagination does not go beyond creating a good morning message, nothing will. You are not a content. Every morning, there are billions of good morning messages by every 60-year-old in this country. But will they become, the better creators? So it is just that, the need, adaptability and creativity in you pushes you to use the tools which you have to really do something.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of CX with Chopra, where we talk about everything customer experience. And today I am super thrilled, super excited to have our guest, Sir KV Sridhar, also known as Pops in the industry. He's a creative legend in the field of advertising. He's been there in the industry for more than 4 decades. He's the global chief creative officer at Nihilent. He's played that role at multiple other organizations before this, like Sapient and also Leo Burnett. He's won hundreds of awards, if I may say. More than, I think, in the 23 Cannes Lions Award, more than 100 international awards, more than 300 India awards. I'm super excited to have you, sir. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do this podcast with you and talk about customer experience.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Thank you for the generous introduction. And this is proof.
No, I would have gone for another 10 minutes.
No, this is proof that Google and AA both lie. So, not that. Just being there for a long time. Coming back to customer experience, offline we have been talking about it. To me, the nomenclature itself puts me off. Customer. Okay. It's been there, not just now, but last 4 decades. We always say that customer. And like Alec Padamsi once said, customer is no one but your mother. Correct? So it is, there's nothing called customer. They are people, human beings.
Humans.
The fact of learning from legends that customers are nothing but human beings. They could be your mother, your sister, your brother, your father, your friend, your uncle, your aunt. You will be able to visualize them much better before you start, even writing. So we come from analog era. Maybe, this day and age, people might thing, that Stone Age, but priorities were given to human understanding, behavior, and now I sit in a lot of data analytics, consumer insight sessions, by data scientists and digital marketers, and throwing up the pie charts, numbers,
Right.
analytics. But good old days, we used to sit in MIG colonies of the customers, actually people,
What they do.
and listen to them, what they have to say, like human beings. And at times, as technology improved, we started using one-way mirrors so that they won't get inhibited by your presence and then still speak to you. So the humanity, over the years, then we started, participating in group discussions via video calls.
Right.
A camera would be there, and then
Correct.
you're watching them, And as things change, we are losing our entire human understanding and culture. And advertising always, teaches you the commonalities, the similarities rather than dissimilarities. Technology, always points towards dissimilarities.
Right. You're always trying to segment people.
You try to see the similarities. How can you, in a Doordarshan era, when you are talking to every man, woman, child in this country, there is no religion bias, there is no regional bias, there is no age bias, there is no SSC, A, B, C, D, none of those.
Right.
People who bought this also bought this, none of those. How can you talk to them in one voice? So I always believe that human insights are the most important thing. Understanding people, we will be able to create far greater experiences rather than anything. If you were to actually see in this day and age, the data insights far more valued than the human insights. And if you were to combine both of them, data insights with human insights, they become dum-dum bullets. Because you not only get the velocity, you get the direction, both of them right. So it is very important to really, that's the first thing,
No, but when somebody says, like you're saying, customer, are we removing the whole emotional element out of it then? Are we looking at, now after hearing you, it seems like, when we say customer, we're looking at very transactional. Okay, what can I sell this person? We're not saying, okay, do I understand this person? What can I sell to this person? Hence the word customer.
Yeah, the commonalities and the similarities. You filter down a lot of people. Oh, he's not 35, remove him.
Now, algorithms tell
He
you,
has not, today, the algorithms in Meta, discards if you have not bought a similar one or not in the context of that. Your ad will never be served to you. So that's the performance marketing for you. So you're discarding a lot of people, a lot of things, because you're filtering things down. But rather than finding the actual motivations and then the things which trigger the chain of events in your head, correct. You may go with one thought to somewhere else, and your mind can be changed. And this entire omni-channel, omnipresence, this entire omni-world, correct. You never know. Now, how can you? So at times, you see in a scientific way that performance marketing delivering a lot more efficiency, and then you are getting a 3%, 4%, 5%.
But you see that, for example, before, let's say, the whole technology thing came in or hit the world, or omni-channel, all this came. So the whole journey used to be linear. Like you'll have awareness.
It isn't. It's the same thing. So if you were to actually see from the time I have known advertising from the time I started practicing, which is late 70s, and I have known advertising from 70s, whatever. But if you see 70s from now, there are two kinds of information about the customers or people, correct? One is qualitative research,
Right.
one is quantitative research. One to do with numbers, one to do with emotions. It never, correct. It's always both, correct. And there is nothing, one gives you data, Nielsen will provide you data, and Cantor and IMRB will give you qualitative ones with focus groups, and then you take both of them. So these as tools are always been available to you. And then the third and most important tool is your gut, your intuition. And such people, when you are targeting and then saying that, okay, these two are saying such behavior, such kind of people, your mind, before you tell a story or create an experience or anything, is searching for a person like that whom you have encountered in your life. And then if you were to try and then convince that person, you would be convincing millions of people with similar mindset. Correct. That's where you pick one. It's never been mass communication. Even though television sounds to be a mass communication, it's never been. It's to one mindset, one behavior, one person which you never mind, and then you write. If that convinces that person who will never get convinced, will convince many others. Correct. The reason why people believe in something is the reason why other people should also believe. That's human truth. So if you were to go by things like that, understanding that singular thing which is common in all of them, that would give a relationship, which will get a value. I would want to interact with you. I would forgive you. I would see the way you want me to see. All this happens when you understand. And then when you approach me in a human way. If you don't, nothing will happen. Correct.
But is it counterintuitive to what we talk about now about all personalization? That micro moments, how every individual is different. So how do I cater to every individual differently?
So it's the same thing. Across the world, human beings behave in the same way, not in a different way. And if you wait to see what is the common thread, correct, which actually an influencer of a 16-year-old, a 45-year-old influencer, an entertainment influencer, a fashion influencer, a food vlogger, if you put all of them, what is that which you are talking about? Who the people who go there? There are certain commonalities.
Right.
That why people get attracted to travel blogs, correct, and then bloggers. What is the commonality? And then if you wait to see the core of that, then you will be touching the human spirit in that, human passion in that, and then human motivations in that. That is what will connect the people, not the beautiful visuals of Sikkim.
True. Right.
That won't, correct. We go after, okay, he has seen one landscape, so I'll serve 10 other landscapes. Will never work, correct. So there is a science and methodology to that. What I am trying to say is we should not forget about the human aspect of it. And then somehow in this entire frenzy of technology, marketing, want results immediately, efficiencies, and new terminology, new vocabulary, and then new fads, correct? All this we are forgetting that at the end of the day, there is only one communication, which is human to human. There is no B2B, there is no B2C, there is no D2H, there is no D2C, there is no D2D. None of those, correct? It's at the end of the day, you are a human being. Does not matter whether you are checking a phone, whether you are talking to somebody on some other thing. It's just a human being talking to another human being. And then when you are speaking like that, there are certain things in that. As I was saying offline, the entire thing of the experience, which you want to give when a guest comes home. You anticipate many things, you do it. It's quite human. There's
Right.
nothing, which is done. You want the house
no
to be
rule book,
clean.
right.
There is no a rule book, and then
Or
the
algorithm.
warmth. And then you improvise as you go. They
Right.
don't want coffee. And then you are prepared for coffee, and suddenly, it's hot outside.
Right.
And then the kid wants, an orange drink.
Correct.
So you make things.
Right.
And then that's how, because your system is very agile to all these little things, and then you adopt and you improvise and then you do it. Somehow the relationship will never go wrong because you are so adaptive to all that. Missions do not even learn that much. Till then, you need to make all the calls.
Right.
Correct. And if the greater you put a filter of human experience in all that human thinking, and then the way you behave, with the guest, that's what customer experience is all about, no?
Right.
And you don't tell them, So Zomato sends you, "Are you hungry?" at 8 o'clock. Does not sell you that pizza is 20 minutes delivery. Correct.
Correct.
And so that is understanding of human beings. So at times you need to be selfless to be selfish, correct? You want people to come and then visit you,
Right.
but you have to be selfless so that people actually come to
Right.
you, and then not talk about what product you can sell to fill the hunger. First, ask the question: Are you hungry? When somebody comes home, that's what we do.
Right.
Correct. Are you hungry? Have you eaten? Do you need something? Are you comfortable? These are not selfish things, and that's how human relations are. Even if you want to do B2B, you can't shake hand with somebody and then ask business. No,
Right. True.
you
What
have
about
a general
relationship?
talk. Build a relationship. In touch with and then interact and then see if there is similarities. Most likely, if other person likes you, he will do business with you.
Right.
But
And that'll come from care.
but what we are doing, I'm only doing business. I show my visiting card and said, paisa lao.
Right.
Correct.
What do you
That
have to
doesn't
offer?
work. There is affinity will be created by interaction. The more meaningful interactions you have, more affinity is created. And affinity brings you loyalty. And loyalty brings you profitability. And then we forget that, you have a transactional relationship with someone. You will never, you come in a cab and then you don't speak to the cab driver. You don't even know how he looks. And then a 1 hour drive or 2 hours drive, you speak to him and you remember him, at least for a little while.
Right.
It's interaction, which makes the affinity, and then that's how. But we want to, do the commerce first, transaction first. After that, I don't care. After that, also you have transaction relationship. Okay, why don't you buy and come back and then buy? Correct. So it is. Will you deal the same way with your neighbors or with your friends? The more you have humanity put inside you, then that humanity will get manifested into everything which you do. Ultimately, it gets transmitted into what you communicate. So if that is not done, then the people who are dealing with all this hard data, are they human first? Correct. Is that that's what I've been trying last 10 years to make technologies more human and creative people understand a little bit of rational. Correct. So everyone is creative. It's not just they're not creative. It's just that the commonality between a technologist and a marketer or any other passionate creative guy is humanity. That's a common tissue. And then if they put human lens everything, then you find that commonality. If you find that commonality, you achieve far greater value to humanity. That's what whom we wanted to serve.
This reminded me of your iconic ad you did for Dwa Tajwa. I was exactly looking at commonality. It was considered as a Western brand, but with Zakir Hussain, Taj Mahal, and the way the whole story was projected, it seemed like an Indian brand, and it connected with so many. Until now, it is like everybody remembers that ad. So again, like you were saying, it's how do you find that commonality? And
You have to find something, something which makes people connect with that. Connect is the most important thing, and a connect will happen if you know something about them. The more you know about the consumer, more connect you can make.
but I'm just thinking. So when you made that ad, let's say Vaat Ajwa, I mean, till now, even the challenges are similar. Even you helped McDonald's as well to how can we Indianize them. What has changed now? I mean, would still that kind of a storytelling or an ad would work now, or because that's what all the tech companies are chasing something, which probably the answer lies in the whole emotional connect. Maybe they're missing out on that.
Yeah, they see the one is the technology number driven. Second is the fear of failure. Correct. Nobody wants. And then the third thing is the pressure of yearly performance to quarterly performance to weekly performance to 24 hours. Now 24 hours you are on your dashboard.
Right.
So nobody wants to be the guy under his nose the matrix has come down. Correct. Nobody, does not matter if it does not grow, but I don't want to degrow. So therefore, everybody wants to play that game of safety, and in order to maintain that, I don't care whether whether short term, this quarter if I were to sell all the stock which I have, I'm happy. I'm not worried. I'm not even thinking about the next quarter. The short term thinking is actually pushing people to take more transactional route. What happens after COVID, especially post COVID, because a lot of brands were not available online, they're not digitally savvy, and then stocks piled up.
Right.
Correct. And and also brands who were not on modern trade. So suddenly the online platforms and modern trade, which had the delivery system, and then really pushed the marketers, the entire, all the brands to come down on price. And then they started more money. So they squeezed everyone of 30-40%, your stocks are piling up. What do? You started selling for discounts. The moment you sell things for discounts, consumers or people are not stupid. They know that you are selling me for half a price. That means that
you
still
had that
you are
margin.
making price.
Right.
Correct. So once you tell people that my actual cost is this much, and they're willing to pay you that 15-20%, whatever fairly you need to make, but they start losing trust in you. That somebody who's zipping me off. So that trust, erodes the value. And the reason why we call a brand as a brand is people wanting to pay extra money for you. If you don't command a price premium, you're not a brand, you're a product. Products are equal. Brands being equal, you're more equal because of emotional reasons, not for rational reasons. If that is being cut off, if I only have transactional relationship with you, you can be replaced by anyone. Look at airlines. Look at cellular operators. Look at many categories where absolutely one is, if you don't get a particular soap on your e-commerce site, you're willing to buy the other one.
Right.
So they are dictating, what. So there is no brand loyalty. There is no affinity for the brand. So the moment people start reducing the entire relationship with their with the people to transaction, then you are eroding the emotional reason, and then people will never get a price premium. The only two reasons why people pay more money, because you are emotionally connected with that. That's the reason why we pay ridiculous 1.6 lakhs for an iPhone.
I was about to say.
Correct. Ridiculous prices for many.
And all those people know that functionally other phones are better.
Absolutely, it is.
Despite knowing that.
So if you don't hold on to that and then start selling, like a Xiaomi or any other phone at a lesser cost, then you are eroding your own equity. So you can't hold on to your price premium. If you don't hold on to your price premium, your business model goes for a 6. You don't make the money, you are not profitable, your business will collapse. If you are not profitable, you cannot give a better product or a better service to your customers.
True.
If people don't see that difference, correct, your promises you made on
You
a
can't have
higher
that
price.
longevity.
On a higher price, when the price comes down, you are not being able to. That's the cause of death of so many airlines in this world. You promise the sky to them, and then you don't deliver. Correct, and then you deliver. So that's the reason why that the ultra premium, the Emirates of the world with their first class, business class, the Kuwait Airways or Qatar Airways, all then giving all that, they survive on very high price. Or no frills airlines, survive because that's only a rational relationship. Correct. There is no emotional relationship with that. So those are interchangeable. So the business models of companies which have born last 20 years or even 15 years are on valuation, not on profit. Correct. Gain the customers at a T cost. So you gain the customers, but you don't make them hold on. Somebody else sells the same product at the same cost. They will run there. Because loyalty is to a price point and not to an emotional benefit. So brands always, become brands because they don't talk about product benefits. They talk about, because of the product benefit, what is the benefit you get out of that product benefit, which is an emotional benefit. If you are not in that area, you will never make money.
But how difficult is that? Because now if you look at competition, there's so much competition. Everybody's trying to create their own niche. I mean, even when Maggie started, Top Ramen started selling, the more Top Ramen used to advertise, the more people used to be reminded of Maggie. Because Maggie had that very strong positioning in people's head. And then all these noodle companies started bifurcating, oh, this is for kids or this is for this. They're trying to create their own positioning. But after a point, it becomes so saturated that where do you create that a differentiated value? So one is you come to at par with, okay, at least it's a healthy noodle, what you can sell. But to get to that emotional level, I mean, it's challenging, but it's long term, like you're saying. But then there's valuation pressures. So I'm still thinking, how do brands should look at then?
See, always, there is a certain reason why certain brands grow. Correct. We all grow, catching a ladder. And you throw away the ladder, you can never, survive. Correct. You don't know what to do. You will have a free fall. Correct. There are a lot of brands like Rasna, Maggie, or Domino's. They all became what they are, or McDonald's, because of the basic human need. Correct. Basic human need. Children are hungry. When they are hungry, they don't see
Anything. Yeah.
reason. Mothers find it tough to feed them within 2 minutes.
Right.
What can you make? So this entire Maggie has become a phenomena. It has given mothers a handle to really do that. And the same children who grew up on Maggie have become, teenagers. They become old enough, and they become. So you started, taking the brand away from that innocence, and then getting people addicted to Maggie at that age. Correct. You started, going to youth and then going to everyone, and then I want to go to rural areas. I want to go to army. I want to go here. I want to go there. You are diluting the basic human need. Correct. Pepsi. Choice of new generation. Younger kids. You grow up with that, and then you stick with that.
Right.
Correct. You never change that.
Correct.
Because my customer that day who adopted it has aged, I also want to age. Correct. So that mindset, you always appeal to that. So that is where the competitive advantage is. You are different basing on a different human need or a psychological need or a societal need or an emotional need which you have really identified, and then that need has really made you a huge success. Those needs will never change. Those are human needs. If you wait to see as a target, saying that that 6-year-old boy has become 8, no, I target 8, and then those 8 years have become there are more 12 years old who are eating, correct, and then you start. So that is what
You're chasing something then.
you are
It's
chasing.
constantly,
So you have to chase the human reasons. And even today, see, there are a lot of things, you look at Cadbury, a chocolate, correct, which mothers, feel not good to give children, there's a guilt which is involved to do that, but we use it as a bribe to give. How did Cadbury legitimize that bribe of a mother to give it to children? And then Cadbury went and then said, no, it has glass and half milk. So a mother in her head, any form of milk going in his...
right. That guilt reduces at
that
least.
guilt has been reduced.
Right.
So you remove that 1.5 glasses and then you go back to...
It's the best chocolate in the world. It will not work then, right?
It won't, because years might have gone that mothers are mothers.
True.
Children are children.
Right.
Certain things, remain the same. So if you were to not chase things which have changed and remain truthful to basic human emotions and human needs, and then remember what really made you human and what made you to connect with a fellow human, those are universal things. If you remain in that, your brands will be intact, and then you will be able. If you don't serve that human need, you are chasing a mirage, a target which is moving so fast you will never be able to catch it. So that's a difficulty in today's marketing and then brand building,
And that's how
or understanding of customers.
brands can position them on these needs then. I remember you did the thumbs up, the whole bungee jumping campaign as well.
Yeah, it's again
Because the thrill will always be there. Whenever somebody thinks of thrill,
the human
thumbs
need,
up.
the human need, why Animal is been such a successful movie, at the same time hated movie.
Right.
So every boy wants to be a man, correct?
Right.
And then what is that which changes to that manhood, that little bit of machoism?
Right.
And then a strong cola gives you that badge value.
Right.
And then at that, teenage time, you are very vulnerable.
True.
Correct. You wanted to reinforce that you have grown up man all the time.
Right.
You don't want to be a teenager,
And that's what cigarette companies also used to advertise earlier.
That is what,
Right.
if you get into those little insights, what makes people really tick, for instance, even if you were to look at even cosmetics, you always go and then tell people, tell young girls who have got a pimple that, be ashamed, people will spot you and then they will ridicule you for what? If you were to turn that around, and then if you were to see inside the house, not outside the house, within the family, a girl will be very proud to show her pimple to mother and father. He says, see, I'm growing up. Why you can't show it? Celebrate a pimple rather than ridicule it. Because that is what, if you get into how human behavior is, and then if you were to do exactly what you do in your life, to how you treat your own friends and family, the same way you treat outside the world will be much better. There's no other logic which is needed. Every solution is within the within our own lives. Yeah.
Even the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, they say you keep your house clean, so why can't you do it outside?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Everything is there. Life teaches you everything. Correct. And a life allows you to reason far greater than any LLM models can ever.
That is true.
But it's not ridiculing or putting down the technology. It always helped, but getting scared or getting carried away, both are unnecessary things.
Like you were focusing on that 1%.
Yeah.
Things which are changing now, tech and everything, but that 99% of that whole human emotions, connect, the need, that hasn't changed. But we are not chasing that 99%. We are chasing that 1%.
We are getting scared by that 1% and trying to drive that, and you will be far more successful because we are living our entire thing, our social living has not changed, personal living has not changed.
Right.
Nothing has changed. We interact with people, we talk to people, we have emotions, we have the same needs, we eat, we sleep, we love, we do all the things the same way. Nothing has changed. If you were to chase the things which has changed, that is only 1%, and then forget about 90%, which has 99%, which has not changed, you will be actually, be carried by the illusion that you have been left behind, and then
And we're passing on that illusion to the next generation. That 1% is actually 50%, but actually it's the emotions and everything which you should matter.
More than next generation. I think we are spoiling our own at night by being sleepless about will I be left behind? Will I lose my job? Is A better than me? Is it giving me a guilt that I don't know enough? It should give a feeling of every teacher that a student knows better than him. Every patient knows better than a doctor, and every surgeon knows that computer knows better than him. So all this, giving a complex to us, but we are forgetting that the most important part is not there in the pill. It's not there in the medicine. It's there in the emotion which is quoted around the pill. That's the reason why homeopathy pill are still
existing. Yeah,
most welcome.
Right.
Correct. That's what humanity is all about. That correct. It's all about how you go to a doctor and you don't get cured by the medicines which he gives, but the confidence which he gives.
That assurance that you feel,
Correct. It's small things. You feel better lying down in the lap of your mother. You feel far more comfortable than anything else. It has no rational reason. So that is where human relationship is. If you understand human relationship, customers are nothing but humans. Correct. So many people. If you understand, what is common in them. And then get to that, how the entire country is been united by a religion or a religious belief or a mission or something. All the countries do that because they look at commonalities rather than dissimilarities. If you find the similarities, you will be able to bind people together. And to really understand the similarities, you need to shred away the other information. Correct. So that's the best way to really understand people. At the same time, there's nothing called mass communication. It is always one-to-one. And then even when you are serving an ad, algorithms will not understand this part of judging you in an emotional way, judging you in a rational way because what you have done. Everybody knows what you have done, but nobody will know what you would do. Correct? You are preempting that you will not do. And that is where the efficiency serves only 5%. People will be very grateful if your metrics on any performance thing is more than 4.5%, 5% or 5.5%, depending on which category you are working. But flip it. It is ineffective 95%.
Right. What about the rest?
What about the rest? So it is. I would say that the customer experience is nothing but understanding how we treat the other person in real life. All the answers are in there. If you make our people sensitive to what they are doing, they understand that. They understand if that sensitization will make the coders, the marketers, the social media agents, the copywriters, everyone to really create a different kind of experiences to make. We analyze how Starbucks treats people.
True.
And if you were to see how your father took you to your grandfather's house and then made you listen to his stories, That's an experience created by your father, orchestrated. It is
Right.
planned. It is
Right.
not that, fathers don't plan to teach you. But this entire experience, correct? And then we plot, we plan, somewhere intuitively it gets to use. Because we think like human beings, and then what all things, how do you answer the curious mind all the time? And that's the difference. And then we only see a very narrow part of behavior by putting the parameters which are, so we don't compensate enough for that intuitive behavior of or emotional behavior or intuitive behavior, non-rational behavior of the customer. So we will be able to guess that, or we will be able to imagine that if we were to keep ourselves flexible or preempt or think like humans before we write. We write for a situation, for a transaction. And we will say that he has bought, I have to send him a thank you. In real life, we don't do that. Do we do that? And then we extend the conversation by saying something else. Correct? So we don't. If you were to have a great relationship with somebody, you don't keep saying. So first reaction you might say, second reaction you will say something else. The third, so you will be able to build a better customer experience if you were to mimic what you would have done with other relationships in life. And nobody can teach that, You yourself have to feel it from your own life experience and then create,
Right.
those things.
Like
for
you
that.
used to go to those MIG apartments and observe people, how they do, right?
Absolutely. If I'm actually teaching my computer, so if I were to imagine, if I were to really classify on data, I will do it in a different way. Correct. If I were to actually be sensitive about different scenarios, I will do my consumer journey a little differently, and then I will do my consumer responses and experiences slightly differently because I'm visualizing in a different way, in a very personal way. Correct. So even if you were to create different stimuluses, you need to understand what you are creating that stimulus for, because every stimulus is designed for a response. And if you don't anticipate the response, your stimulus always fails. And you want the other person to think that way. Correct? And then you know that what the answer you want from your son. Correct? And then you probe in a certain way because involuntarily will disclose it.
Right.
Correct? That's a little game.
You do
That's
the
where
reverse psychology also, and then you get that answer also.
Yeah, because you understand.
Right.
And then you play along. That's the beauty of life. That's how things work. So these are the softer aspects, which needs to get into this entire technology creators and marketers and digital communicators and the entire ecosystem needs to be more sensitive to human, to connect with human beings a little better. So that's the whole.
But if you look at the human side, how they have evolved, we were just reading that I think in 1990s the attention span of a child was about 30 minutes, or humans. In 2010 it came down to some, I think 30 seconds, and now it's 8 seconds, which is even less than goldfish. Goldfish has a attention span of 9 seconds. Now with that attention span going down, how do brands then do that whole storytelling? And because people, as a consumer also, I'm constantly bombarded with so many things. Instagram or wherever I go, I see. And then where do I declutter the whole thing and do that whole storytelling? For example, when you did the whole Thanda Matlab Coca-Cola campaign. Now, like you're saying, we look at the commonality. Now, that one theme element, which let's say Amir Khan said, spoke, how he spoke, the whole humor part of it, everybody could relate to it because people would have seen that person somewhere in their life and that connected with everybody, and did the positioning on, Coke means Thanda, whenever you want something Thanda Coke. But now, although back in the day, the ads were also 30 seconds. 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Even Instagram reel is same.
Yeah. See, that is actually done by Prasun Joshi, Thanda Matlab Coca-Cola. But the insight, that's human observation and behavior, correct? We always used to, before refrigeration, what we used to do? put that in water. No, if you don't have refrigerator, what do you do to keep something cold? Put that in water, correct? So that has actually has made that campaign, relatability of that, because the access, today you have a refrigerator in urban household, but 90% of India do not have. What do they do if they want? So even matka or anything to keep something cold, correct? So what is cold? And I want to have cold water. How can you replace?
Correct.
So Coke was not competing with other colas or other cool drinks, competing with thanda water.
Right.
The moment you do that, and then suddenly, so the relatability all the time is an important thing. Understanding human behavior, understanding what really makes people connect. So you are not highlighting that you don't have a refrigerator, you can't have this. Correct? Saying does not matter. Will it relate to even other people also? Yeah. It relates to them. I want the water to be cold,
Right.
or my soft drink to be cold,
Right.
and then cold. Thanda, matlab Coca-Cola. So thanda, what is thanda? The cold water, the sharbat, the nimbu pani, and the chas. All these are thanda. What do you say when somebody comes home?
Correct. Right. You offer nimbu pani typically. Right.
So whom are you competing with? The clarity in life of what makes you, a larger brand or a larger product. And do you want to say that I'm a better cola, or you want to say I'm a better soft drink, or you say that I am a better thanda? Correct. So that understanding, always makes people. Once you relate to somebody, then affinity is formed. If affinity is formed, people will forgive you. So if you talk about refrigeration at the right thing makes Coca-Cola better, you just need to have 21 degrees temperature or whatever, then only that ideal time to. So it is impossible. If it is not of that temperature, I will not have it.
Right. You can't relate then. You're breaking that link between the
Correct.
masses.
That's the best case. But when you are thirsty, you want, that's where, dominance of the world. When you're thirsty, what do you want? Do you want to go, half a mile to have the chilliest soft drink, or drink whatever is available at that point in time? Correct. And so it is always the perspectives with which you understand human beings, how they behave, is far more important to create a better affinity with them, a better relationship with them. That is what will make you successful. All these micro interactions, we tend to think they're all progression within the transactional relationship. It never happens. You give a love letter to a girl every day for 365 days, and you think that she's going to fall in love with you? I have given more letters than the other guy.
Right.
It won't happen.
Right.
It won't happen.
Right.
That is the premise with which this entire, creating better experience is a matter of better wanting to have better relationship. And wanting to have better relationship is wanting to understand them better. Correct. And wanting to understand them better, how can you understand? You need to have certain commonalities. Correct. If you want to make friendship with somebody, you will know that what music they listen to, what books they read, what family they come from. We do a little bit of homework to really understand.
Right.
And then see what motivates them, and then you really form a relationship with them. So in the same way, understanding the physical part of it is very important, that, what SSCA and then what habits and what data you have about them. The emotional part, the insights, is equally important, which is what is getting mixed, getting lost in this entire digital, online, consumer experience, or design experience. All these fabulously new
Packaged
nomenclatures which have been done.
Right.
The core of all that is
Human connect.
human connect. If you understand that, you understand everything. If you can have more friends in your life, you can create more connections in digital space also. Correct. You know how to deal with
Right.
people. Correct. That's the most important thing. If you preserve that, you have preserved the very nature of building a huge network of people, like-minded people who always wanted to attract to you. That's what a great brand always does. And that's why we call them as brands. Look at politicians or brands or film stars.
Right.
They live, but then still has connection with everyone.
Everyone.
So how will they manage to keep that connection alive? Correct. Their understanding of humanity, humility, emotions, all those are softer aspects. So somewhere in this hard performance world, the softer aspects are getting completely ignored. My agenda in life is to make this entire community to be more human. That's all it is.
Interesting. And coming to the last section, when we talk about humanity, also comes about AI, artificial intelligence. Everybody talks about that. And especially in the whole creative space, now we are seeing generative AI, even writing scripts, you can make videos, all of that. Where do you see that evolving then? I mean, it's because I know you said that it's more like an enabler or a tool, but where should we make AI take a back seat, maybe? Or, where does it go then?
See, even if you look at the current entire, we talk about dark factories. We talk about the entire humanoids. Correct. We talk about all that, and then we talk about job creation. The country says that I want to give more jobs to my people, and another country suffers because they were into mass manufacturing. Now I can't get rid of my people. What will happen? So this entire human thing, we have known for decades. All aeroplanes are not, actually pilots fly. Right? Machines fly them. But still, why there is a pilot? Will you ever board an aeroplane without a pilot?
Without a pilot, no.
Correct. Even an automated auto industry has supervisors. Correct. Why there is a human need or interference? Correct. There is always a human need and interference. There are a lot of things, mechanical things, which gets transferred. That does not mean that you need to learn skills to use your mind to do something else. So when you don't get that truth, you will become outdated. If you are doing only mechanical thing, then you will. And then if you say that no, I am doing this, correct, but I am capable of learning a new skill, and then adapting to that. That's how human progress happens. Even in any clerical or any other place, progress in life because we adopt and then do that. The same way, the machines can only learn what we are capable of doing. It cannot guess. In a logical way, it can guess because you have done this. Therefore, you might do this. Correct. I may not do that. That's what human mind is capable of. I might do something else. That can never be predicted. Correct. So that is where, it's a great tool. When Photoshop came in, people said, what is the use of a breed of artists who were finishing photographs and then who were creating images with spray guns and a lot of artistry which is involved. They all felt threatened. Photographers felt threatened with Lightroom. And then today, no photographer can live without a Lightroom. No artist can do anything without that. So we adopt to technology, we upgrade our skills and our thinking. Because what makes today, the entire AI video generation, correct? It can generate, it is only limited with your imagination. And if you don't have the imagination, nobody can help.
Because it is dependent on your imagination.
If you have the imagination, it does not matter because you are original. Your imagination can never be. And so, a billion minds think billion different ways. And then no two people will think the same way. Correct. How many combinations you can? That's what I was trying to say, consumer journeys. How many journeys you can create?
Right.
Correct. It is impossible to create if you wanted to create individually and then try to do that by algorithms. But if you wait to find the commonalities and then try and then address that, you'll be addressing all of them. In the same way, the imagination and creativity, correct? You use all these technologies. See, a computer can give a response basing on what responses need to be given in a rational way. Had been given.
Right.
But they will not know. If you teach a son saying that, open the door, anybody comes,
Welcome them
to make them sit. When terrorists will come with a gun and then you will open the door and will ask them, because that's what you have taught them. But in real life, it does not happen. The child will get scared and then run away or shout or do something, or that guy has to do. So the interaction, is completely different. You can't go by that. So the technology can only prompt you, can give you that much. Nothing can be replaced. It is all human imagination. And then we thought that any technological revolution is going to change and then make, human, less human. And then human mind, lesser mind. Computers, the software, the films, whatever, everything, we have evolved far more. We know how to create a story for an OTT ecosystem. We know how to create a story for a big screen. Then therefore, the larger than life films are running in big screen. We know what will work in a television, and we know what will work in a DVC, correct? We know what will work in an Instagram post. We evolve, as humans do that. And all these are not, and then I remember in around 2010, 12 years back when the videos have come into, you can actually record a video.
Right.
And social media, where you can put it on
TikTok
YouTube
started,
and all that. India was one of the last countries to adopt voice. One of the last countries to adopt video. In fact, everybody written off, saying that India can never, people are shy about the camera.
Right.
And then you will never be able to do the way people have been using in elsewhere in the world.
Right.
And then suddenly TikTok came and then made every little villager, every housewife, everyone as creators.
Right.
It has only given a tool to express their creativity. What did they do when TikTok went? They became larger influencers.
Right.
On Instagram.
Right.
Correct. So it is not, nothing is inhibited by tools. And it is the survival and then human ingenuity is such that you adopt and then, keep on. You don't have to think about something. And then you will, at one point in time, has to go with a little pocket telephone index book in my wallet.
Right.
All the time
I
trying
remember
to see.
my father, yeah.
So now you don't.
Right.
Correct. And you don't complain. You don't complain about it. It's the same way we adopt a lot of new tools and technologies which we come, which gets adopted. Nothing will replace human imagination, human creativity, and our ability to weave stories and then tell people reality is not a story. Fiction is a story. A lie is always better than a truth. Correct? Truth is journalism. Lie is all about storytellers. Correct?
Wow, yeah.
And then you weave a story around it.
Right.
It is plausible.
Right.
Any lie is plausible. Correct? But it is all about how you take the human interest and then weave things. So that imagination, not a bunch of people, hundreds and millions of people can convert a text to image to video, and then video to a longer format of video.
Right.
Has it replaced anything? Will it ever? You get tired of doing it once you adopt it. And then you do it once, and after that you go, how many Jai Hanumans you will do? How many good mornings you will do? Correct?
Right.
So if your imagination does not go beyond creating a good morning message, nothing will. You are not a content. Every morning, there are billions of good morning messages by every 60-year-old in this country. But will they become, the better creators? So it is just that, the need, adaptability and creativity in you pushes you to use the tools which you have to really do something. And all these are tools which people are learning, why all this, the enterprise adoption itself is not 100% of AI technology. And the technology is adopted by people before the enterprises. So therefore, it is putting on enterprises to really, push. People have adopted it. How the hell marketing cannot adopt it? How the hell brands cannot adopt it? Try to push that without realizing.
No, but that's very
what to do with that.
It's very assuring as well. But great. I mean, thank you so much. I mean, this was so insightful. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to view this podcast 10 times because, to understand all the things. So thank you so much. I mean, I loved it. I'm sure all the viewers would have loved it as well. So yeah, please keep watching more episodes for more insights on customer experience. Thank you.